All right, Joe Marino. I have Kathleen. I want to start with Kathleen. She has a question for
Certainly.
you. Out of the blue. She heard you were coming on, and I'm not sure if she is in your district. But Kathleen in Utica, you're on with a question for Councilman Joe Marino.
Mr. Marino?
Yes, hello, ma'am.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on, and he can hear you. And
okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Marino, are you really going to run for mayor?
Well, thanks for taking our question.
I asked you that maybe 10 years ago. Do you remember?
A lot of people have been very, very nice to me. Since we've gotten involved, we've done a lot with people, and a few people have said that. I don't know if I remember, but to answer your question, maybe one day. I mean, there are some things that I think that I could do.
No, one day now.
Well, the election's not until next year.
Well, he'd have to, if he's going to run, he would have to run for next year. Although,
believe me, he's going to win.
Okay.
And he's
Thank you
gonna
very,
win
very, very
big,
much.
just like his mother.
Thank you. That's a great compliment. Thank you so much,
right.
Kathleen.
And God bless you and your family. And I'll be praying for you to be up there, honey.
Thank you so very much.
And
I
if
appreciate
there's anything I could do, just give me. I'll go around ringing bells.
Wow.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, that's great, Kathleen. Thank you for the call.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
Well, there's the softball. Now I'm going to throw you a curveball.
That was very nice. Thank you very much. It was a great compliment.
All right. What in the hell is going on with you being banned
I know.
from Little League? So here's what we get. Can
Sure.
I tell you what I have?
Yeah, please.
I have that you got into a heated argument, and there might have been some bumping going on. Contact. And because of that contact, this was a minor league district game.
A minor league all-star game.
All-star
There
game.
was an incident. I'll tell you about it. Sure. But you tell me what you got.
Well, that you might have, at the end of the day, you have been banned for 1 year from minor league, and that would be East Utica.
Yeah. No. Not true.
You're not banned.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not banned.
Got it.
But like Tommy Lasorda and Joe Torre before him, I did get thrown out of a game.
You
which
did.
was, yeah, sure. And that was, not pleasant either.
That had to be tough.
It was, look, there's 200 people around. I don't make a habit out of, getting thrown out of Little League games for my 9-year-olds. But
was it an ump call? Did you question an ump call?
I coach.
Are you? By the way, are you coaching?
Yeah, I'm
and
a
you're
coach.
thrown out. Okay.
I'm a coach for my twin boys who were on an all-star team, and there was an ump that was clearly having a bad day.
Yeah.
And behind the fence, there's a bunch of moms jawing at the guy over some pretty tough calls and things like that.
Okay.
And I thought,
right.
and then I got my kids on the mound and they're pitching with tears in their eyes. So I thought, it's my job to protect these kids and go at least say something. So I gently walked up to this umpire and I said, "Hey, listen, bud, can we, figure out the strike zone so we can get these kids, that we walked 18 guys."
I don't think you can argue balls and strikes in minor league.
Yeah, well,
ball,
let me
can
tell
you?
you, I'm not a professional coach either, and here's why.
By the way, is this an official, or is this sometimes in?
No,
this
he's
got to
not
be an
like
all-star
a kid.
game.
Yeah, he
so,
wasn't like a volunteer kid.
right.
He
wasn't
was
a kid.
No.
This is an umpire,
a trained, Mohawk Valley umpire.
Okay.
So I went up and said, "Listen, we're creating a little bit of a mess here. What can we do?" And he turned around to say, like, "I'm not trying to hear what you got to say." So what I did was touched his elbow. I said, "Hey, bud, I'd like to just talk to you." He goes, "That's it. You're out of here." And so I got tossed from a game. I did.
You didn't bump him.
No, but I did touch him. And again, I'm not a professional coach. I was just adult to adult saying, "Hey, direct your attention to my." And I don't know if you know this, but I'm not very tall.
Well, it's funny because Michael is asking the question, like Pete Rose before you, are you a player coach?
No, well, I could pass for a player on a 9-year-old team. But so that was it. So, I just don't like when an umpire makes a game about himself. I think that these kids deserved a shot to play, and I'm proud of defending him. I wouldn't have had it any other way. I didn't think the guy would have that short of a trigger to throw me out of a game. Like I said, thank God there were 200 people there because I got a call the next day. "Hey, I heard you sucker punched an umpire in the middle of a 9-year-old game."
Because that's the story that was going around.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I have a great coach with me, a guy named Frank Krause, who's tremendous.
Yeah.
So he finished out and.
What did your wife say when you got home?
My wife was actually
Was she with
more
you?
upset than I was. And that was what I was, my wife is an amazing mother, but she's a fierce lion for her kids.
Got it.
And she was really upset, and a lot of the moms
So
were
she
upset.
was with you?
She was on the,
She was with you.
She was very proud of me.
Okay.
She was very, very proud of me. But
my
I didn't
wife would
want
have been
that to
like, what
happen.
the hell are you doing?
Well, what I did after,
doing?
because that is, again, I'm an adult, and these are 9-year-olds. They don't understand what I said to the guy.
You didn't swear at him?
No.
You
no
didn't
swearing.
bump him?
No bumping. I couldn't have. I would have chest bumped his butt.
Okay. You didn't push him? You didn't you didn't call him a name?
No, but I did touch an
stupid?
umpire, and I told the kids on the other team after, because it wasn't nice and for them to see. I told my kids and the other kids, my kids I told, I will defend you to the hills. That's my job. The other kids I did say, though, what Coach did, that's not appropriate. You can't argue with an umpire. You can't do those kind of things. You guys deserved every ounce of what you had. I didn't want those kids to think, this guy's complaining and we're probably doing something wrong. They did nothing wrong.
Yeah, okay.
This umpire was having a bad day. And
did you guys win the game?
No,
right.
we didn't. And then we ended up playing in the championship last night. And we lost by 1 run against a great Whitestown team. The kids did a great job, both kids. You got 11 9-year-olds, and they're playing their hearts out, and it gets passionate.
Yeah.
And I've been at games where there's been coaches darting out from the dugout, blowing dirt on the home plate, and getting in the full argument and stuff.
And
Nothing
one of
like that.
my son played it. It was in East Utica. They won because the opposing team, they caught the opposing team didn't play a player.
Yeah, people do that.
And
they
by
get
the
really,
way, he to slow the game down, he wouldn't let the kids bat. It was really so you'd go out and you just put the bat on your shoulder, and they had to get you did whatever the rules. You had to get to a certain inning. They got to that certain point, and the other team had to forfeit because that was an awful way to win a game. To be honest with you, it was quite embarrassing.
Ridiculous. So glad to hear, 1, you were not suspended.
No
2,
suspension.
Any report of a sucker punch is not true. I'm also hearing, though, that you might have kicked dirt on Mayor Palmieri's budget, and that's the reason you're running.
See, now that is actually factual. I have changed every budget that I've gotten, and we've changed it for the better. Dirt actually wasn't involved. It was more like some stale coffee that was in our back room. But yeah, no, look, these kids, they go through a lot when you play, and what
do you have a kid on the team?
2. I have
Two
twins.
on the team. Okay.
Yep, I have twins.
Okay.
And the last thing you want to do is you want to make it about them, and the last thing you want to do is make it about any adults, whether it's a dad in the outfield or screaming, or an umpire or a coach. So this was becoming about an umpire, and I thought it was my job.
Because you felt the strike zone was too narrow or too small, too big.
I'll put it this way: my team were in the 3rd inning, and we'd walked 18 of their batters. And so it just was becoming crazy. And don't forget, we have a pitch count. So these kids, we were blowing through kids. Now we're at kids who've never pitched before just to get another kid in, because if you pitch more than X amount of pitches, you got to take them out. So my kid was literally tearing on the mound, and I wasn't going to let him sit out there. Well, some guy just thought he can, do what he wanted. So I just went over. I calmly said, "Hey, listen." He turned around and touched his elbow, and that was it.
Well, can I ask you, was he consistent on both teams, both sides?
No. Well, that's the thing. And again, I don't, that wasn't my concern. That was the parents' concern.
Yeah.
It was not consistent by any stretch.
You don't feel he was consistent?
Not. I mean, we had 18 walks. They had 4.
Right.
Okay. So, but again, you could say anything you want about the strike zone. It's very difficult to ump, right? And I understand that.
Yeah.
I've even done it, not in a professional manner, but I've stood back there. I understood this guy. He wasn't doing anything. I didn't think he had it in for us or out for them. I really, genuinely, though, I am not going to sit there while 9-year-olds are crying on the field, and this guy, maybe he needed to, because I've done that in the past. Go up to an umpire, hey, listen, it's getting a little tight over here, it's getting a little tight over there. Guy will go, all right, well, I'll give it a look, but I think I'm doing a good job. No problem. Walk back to the dugout. This guy said, hey, listen, I think it's getting a little tight over here. You're out of the game. Hair trigger, and, sometimes I think that this guy had a lot from the crowd. I think the crowd and I think he took it out on me. But again, I'm not going to not defend my kids.
Okay.
I'll never not do that.
All right. Do you think these would have been balls at, was it A ball, as the kids get up? Should he have had a little more lenient strike zone?
Well, I've talked to other umpires since, because, again, I'm not a professional. I'm just a dad helping out. Coach, I played baseball my whole life. But, what you like to do, what you like to see is, you give a little bit wider of a strike zone to certain kids. But, look, when you're at 9 years old, my kids are very short, like me.
Yeah.
So my kid's strike zone is going to be a lot smaller than a kid who, we have some 9-year-olds that are about 5'4". So the strike zone's a little
It is one of
bigger.
the difficulties of, especially
So it's very
at
hard.
that level. Of,
it's very hard. And when you got people getting emotional and things like that, but I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I mean, I would stick up for these kids, and I will go anywhere and back for them. This umpire needed to have a complaint brought to him. And I did, and he threw me out for it.
So no kicking of dirt, no swearing at him, no whispering, I'm going to kill you when we get to the parking lot.
No.
Because sometimes you can whisper those things into the ears, and nobody else hears it, and you're like, I didn't say anything. I don't know what I'm doing here. What's going on?
No.
Is this umpire running for mayor of Utica? Do you know?
He might be. I've heard Republicans were asking for a video. I mean, I don't know. What I thank God there was 200 people there looking at the whole thing, because I mean, you would have thought that I manhandled an adult in front of children. So no.
Well, the word came out. You sucker punched him, and you've been banned for a year.
Right?
So,
Yeah. No.
My question is, how do you run for mayor when you've been banned from Little League?
Yeah,
it's
well,
not going to be easy.
Yeah, I don't make a point of embarrassing my team. Not even me. I'm not worried about me.
Latest on Chief Brooks. What can you tell us?
Yeah, again, it's an ongoing, continuous, unfortunate situation. We still don't have a chief. I still believe Chief Brooks belongs in that position, but even if the mayor felt like he didn't, which I don't agree with, even if he felt like he didn't, the mayor is leaving public safety shorthanded. Not in a safety sense. I think that the people are well protected in the city because the rank and file know their job. They're going to do it no matter who's there. But paperwork is being put to the side. Things are being put to the side. All for, again, this is just dirty politics.
Can I ask you, the interim chief right now is Clark, right?
Correct.
Okay. So we hear things like you've been banned for a year and you sucker punched it up. So what's real? So one of the things that I had heard is that the chief was planning to retire. He did know that coming up a year from this September, he's most likely going to have to retire because based on age,
sure.
Mandatory retirement. Mm-hmm. So he was in the process of creating a system by which his successor would then take over. Now, there's more than one assistant chief in Utica. Is that correct?
There is, there's one assistant chief and then there's 2 deputy chiefs.
Deputy chiefs.
Correct.
So the question the question I have is what I was told, is that the chief had someone else in mind to be his successor than the mayor. And that might play a role in what's currently, because the mayor wanted Clark and maybe the chief wanted somebody else. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard not that the chief had someone else in mind. I've heard that the mayor had someone in mind.
Okay, was it Clark? Is it Clark that the chief, the mayor has in mind?
I mean, based on everything that happened, I would imagine, but I can't say. I can't speak to what he was thinking, but I do know this, again, no matter who the mayor wanted, who Chief Brooks wanted, the fact is...
The fact that Chief Brooks did not want the person the mayor wanted, let's say that.
Right.
You've heard that, too?
I've heard that, but that's, again, based on the politics of it all.
Okay.
But again, what I'm talking about is the actual public safety standard of this.
I understand.
The fact that, if you can, as the public safety commissioner, allow your want and your desire for one particular person or another, whoever it may be, if you're going to allow the complement of the fire department to be adjusted and fiddled with, basically, for that, I mean, I think that's a shame. I think that's a disservice to the city. So, I can't speak to who it was or was not, or I really don't know. I mean, I've heard what you've heard. Yeah, I can confirm that. But I haven't heard it from real sources. I haven't heard it from the mayor himself.
All
so
right.
I don't know that.
It's kind of funny. 4 years ago, we began calling you deputy mayor, and looky here, are you seriously considering a run for mayor?
Well, I'm seriously considering staying in the city of Utica and doing anything I could to help. I mean,
would you consider assembly instead of mayor?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
No, that I can confirm that I wouldn't.
All right.
Especially not at this time. I mean, like I said, I am. One of my favorite things to do is coach my kids. It really is. I mean, I've got 2 jobs. I mean, I have a full-time job, and then being a council person is a full-time job. But one of my favorite things to do is coach my kids. That's why I was kind of glad to come in here and talk about that.
Well, you cleared everything up, and I'm out of time.
No, we're good. We're good. Yeah,
and
we'll be back on the field in no time.
Okay. Well, it's a whole season away. Got a break at WIBX.